Welcome back. We're back with the Turkey Bowl race number 2. We've got the midgets out of the way. We're on to the non-wing 360s. Again, I am your host, Ryan Griffith, and I will be on the go here at Kokomo Speedway. Can't get any better for some non-wing action in these high-powered 360 non-wing cars. We just got done seeing the midgets there at the Lima Land, and that was a good one. As Driscoll was able to pick up the win in that one. And Clifford Driscoll gets that win, and he is their points leader coming into race number 2 of 3. Greg Sheeran is in that second position. He has 72 points. He's 10 points back from Driscoll here early in on the night. As we've seen Sheeran come through the pack, up 10, 11 spots in last race in the midgets. That third position in points is Greg Selby. Selby is just 1 point back from Sheeran. Also in that third position is Brandon Surratt. He shares with Selby with 71 points. And then in the fifth position, Jason Randolph with the 67 points. And Josh Berkey in the sixth position for 65 points. Seventh is Brandon Boyle at 58 points. Iron K is in that number 8 position with 56 points. Warren Samoy in the 9th position with 54 points. And rounding out the 10th position is Brian Wax with 50 points. A reminder, your winner in points tonight picks up an extra $15. Sheeran looking to close the gap after starting deep in the field, and the midgets was able to climb through and finish in that second position. He's looking for a big outing here and currently sitting second quick here in hot lap session. But it was Driscoll winning that first race and picking up the $5 early on the night. Also, do not forget that in a week from tomorrow, we have the big event going on, the Big 3 at the Big E weekend on December the 3rd and 4th. That's Saturday and Sunday. Big day of racing in Millertime Motorsports. $2,100 are out there on the pot. We have the night before the Kings of Millertime. That's on December 3rd. That's at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That's on a Saturday. That is $100 to the points winner. That's the end of their regular season. Their points leader, points winner, will walk away with $100 there. Some other prizes, or I guess cash for the remaining point standings, are out there as well. And then on Sunday at noon, we have the Race of Champions. There's $100 on the line there for the Race of Champions, and that is your winners from the past season, and also the highest in points that did not get a win. And then the big time race comes that evening at 7 p.m. on the 4th. That's Sunday night, the 4th. The Kings of Millertime, the 4th running, and $300 goes to the winner. Total pot of $2,100 for that weekend. There's a lot of money out there to be had, and that's going to be a big one. And you're going to be able to see it right here live on Dirt Eye TV, and you'll see it right there on YouTube. So if you have not already subscribed to the Dirt Eye TV on YouTube, make sure you go over there and click that subscribe button so that you will be notified when we go live next weekend for that big time race. So some big time names are in there, as your last king was Clayton Tilley. Clayton Tilley has only picked up 2 wins on the season this year, and not as dominant this season as he was last season, so anybody could be crowned king. We have 3 different kings, so will we see a 4th king? And 2 of those kings has been first-time winners. They picked up their very first win at the biggest stage when there's money on the line. Will that be the case next Sunday night? We shall see in a week and 2 days now away for the big race, the Kings of Millertime. And that is brought to you by Millertime Motorsports and Chris Miller and Steve Miller. They're the founders of Millertime Motorsports. They've done a great job. And then his teammates here putting on this show tonight of Joshua Berkey and Byron Gay. They put this thing together, Turkey Bowl. They did it last year, and it was a success, and it is so far turning out to be a very good night of racing so far. I've seen some really good racing in the midgets, and hopefully we'll see the same here in the 360 non-wing. Coming up next, well, we've got qualifying. Qualifying is coming up, and we'll see who is going to be the fastest here in the 360s. Cars are out there on the speedway now, and you can see right there, that is Brandon Surt turning some times. Hayden Harvey drops into the 360s and sets quick time early on. That's Hayden Spike Harvey. And then he gets topped by Sheeran. Sheeran again. He was big in the midget, so keep an eye on Sheeran as he's been hot. Sean Stevens in that third position in the 26 machine. He's an Aussie in this one at a 12.560. But man, Sheeran put down a absolute Sheeran blap at a 12.290. Selby there turned a good time at a 12.441. It's good laps for those two, but class of the field right now. Oh, and there goes Driscoll, as he was your winner of your last race there. He goes into the second position, turning pretty good lap there at a 12.352, and now tops the leaderboard at a 12.056. Lightning speed there for Clifford Driscoll. He won the last race in the midgets, looking to do the same here, and he set quick time early in this one, so that really helps him out in the point system tonight. As Hayden Harvey was early out onto the track, set quick time, and then he dropped all the way down into the fourth position after Selby, Sheeran, and Driscoll. Your top three there in qualifying right now. Preston Dalton turns a good lap there in that sixth position in the 18 machine at a 12.585. Matt Grimm in a seventh position at a 12.650. Joshua Berkey at a 12.671. He clocks in the eighth position. Theodore York, he was in the midgets last time. Turned in a 12.675, ninth quick. Running out the top 10, Brandon Surt, turning a 12.680. That is your top 10 right now. There's still one car left to qualify if he's chooses to do so. He's only got about 20 seconds to do it. As we will get you set for what's coming up next. Your heat racing action is coming up next. You'll have 8 laps in these heat races, and all the cars will make tonight's a main feature, as an extra $5 is on the line for the feature winner in this one. All right, your first heat race is lining up on the speedway now, and starting on the pole is going to be that 63 of Clifford Driscoll. He's your fast qualifier tonight and starts in that P number 1. P number 2 is the 15 of Hayden Spike Harvey. Starting third in the 91, that is Matt Grimm. Starting fourth, the 84 of Brandon Surt. Starting fifth in the 11 machine, that's Byron Gay. And starting sixth, the 19 of Jason Haynes. All right, these guys are looking for the green flag out of turns number 4. The lights are out on the iRacing pace truck as they come down the backstretch. They will get the signal to go green here in your first heat race of the non-wing sprint car race number 2 of 3 on the Turkey Bowl. Green flag is waving out on the speedway, and Driscoll gets the early race command in the 63 machine. He will take command of it early in on this one. Hayden Harvey is in that second position right now. He started on the outside of row number 2, and he is in third. In that third position, Brandon Surratt, he's up 1 position in this one right now, starting in that 4th position, and he's up 1 spot. Matt Grimm in the 4th position at 91 machine, and there you look at the fast times on that first lap around there. Driscoll, of course, still really fast there at a 12.368. That's going to be a one to keep an eye on, or is anyone going to be able to catch Clifford Driscoll? As Driscoll works the bottom side of the racetrack, you see Harvey works the top side of the racetrack. 2 completely different lines of racing right now. As you can see, Driscoll there works the bottom side of the racetrack. Top side, Hayden Harvey. So where does these lines start to move as these non-wing cars go around? As we had Byron Gay get into the wall a little bit, maybe. He dropped back into the 5th position just a little bit. Back up front. He's still fast, and he's got the fastest lap. Let's take a look at your average laps over the last 5 laps. And Driscoll still has your fastest lap right now, as they've got 8 laps in of the 10-lap heat race. Last lap for Driscoll was a 12.229, still just taking off time like crazy. Hayden Harvey still in that 2nd position. 3rd ranks Brandon Surratt. 4th is Matt Grimm. 5th is Byron Gay. 6th is Jason Haynes. Look on board there as he finishes his lap. Driscoll is your race winner. Hayden Harvey, he finishes in the 2nd position, and Brandon Surratt rounds out the top 3. We are on for heat race number 2, racing action. Starting on the pole in this one, that's the 72 of Greg Sheeran. Starting 2nd, the 26 of Sean Stevens. Starting 3rd, the 39 of Joshua Berkey. Starting 4th is the 47 of Jason Randolph. 5th is the 77 of Warren Samoy. And rounding out the field in that 6th position, the number 14 of Brian Wax. If this is your first time watching Dirt Eye TV, make sure that you hit the subscribe button over on YouTube so you're notified when we go live. Also, we have a Facebook page. Go over there, check out our Dirt Eye TV on Facebook, and give us a like. Follow us over there, and also check us out on dirtitv.com. As the lights are going out on the iRacing pace truck this time by, we're going to let them loose. Sheeran is sitting on the pole, and this one is a 72 machine. The YOB Sean Stevens on the outside of row number 1 there in the 26. We're going to let him loose here out of 4. Green flag is waving. Sean Stevens, the top side of the raceway, gets a big run down the backstretch. Underneath him, you got Joshua Berkey looking for that 2nd position. Sean Stevens still right there on the outside of him. Sheeran leads the first lap. Look at the lap times there. You can see, wow, 3-car battle there for the race lead. They're about to go 3 wide down the front stretch. 3 wide going into turn number 1. Berkey on the bottom, Sheeran in the middle, Stevens on the outside. 3-car battle here for your race lead in heat race number 2. This is a good race here, as Josh Berkey started in that 2nd row and has worked the bottom side of the raceway with perfection, and he takes over the race command. Sheeran in that 2nd position gets loose on the exit, and he loses that ground to Sean Stevens, as Sean Stevens takes over that 2nd position. But will Sean Stevens have anything for Josh Berkey as he's rolling the bottom with precision? Jason Randolph on back here in the back. He's in that 5th position right now. Warren Samoy up into the 4th position. Greg Sheeran back into the 3rd position. Was hoping to win this heat race, but not looking so good as you got a strong Josh Berkey up front leading this one. Over the last 5 laps, you can see it there. Josh Berkey is your fastest guy out there. We'll take a look at your last lap. Your last lap there, comparisons. As you can see, still Josh Berkey still faster than the rest of the field right now. As Josh Berkey comes into turns 3 and 4, he's looking for the white flag here on the exit of 4. White flag is waving for Berkey. Sean Stevens runs in that 2nd position. Greg Sheeran in the 3rd position. Warren Samoy runs 4th. Sheeran looking to the bottom side, looking to take away the position from Sean Stevens, and gets into Sean Stevens and turns him. Sheeran will take the position over. Warren Samoy will come home in 3rd. Jason Randolph in 4th. Brian Wax 5th. And Sean Stevens will round out 6th after getting turned there. On the final turn there, Greg Sheeran putting it in there for that 2nd position. But it's all Josh Berkey winning heat race number 2. Number 3 looks like this. Starting on the pole, the number 7, that's Greg Selby. Starting 2nd, the 18 of Preston Dalton. Starting 3rd, the 09 of Theodore York. Starting 4th, the 46 of Ian McKenzie. Starting 5th, the 13 of Ryan Ensinger. And starting 6th, the number 2 of Michael Lemon. Greg Selby get on the throttle here out of turns number 4, and he has done it. And that number 7 machine, as green flag is waving around Kokomo Speedway for heat race number 3. 10 laps will be the distance here. Selby gets the early race command, works the bottom side of the raceway, way off the throttle. If you've noticed these cars, they don't just throw them in there and sling them. They get way off the throttle, stick it down the bottom side of the raceway, and that's just what Selby's doing, and it looks really, really like a beautiful piece of artwork he's just doing out there. I mean, just hitting his marks down along the bottom side, turning a 12.280. I mean, that is just blistering speed versus Preston Dalton running back here in that 2nd position, running a 12.962. So big comparison in speed by Selby. Selby's got that thing hooked up on the bottom side of the raceway, as Theodore York is in that 3rd position right now, running about mid-track. Ian McKenzie on back in here, and Ryan Ensinger into that 5th and top 5 position, I should say. Preston using the middle side of the raceway, but we look back up front now. Greg Selby works to the top side of the raceway. A little bit different line now. Take a look at the last lap comparison. Selby to 12.6, and Selby hits the wall just a little bit there, grabs a little bit of it. So about 2 tenths faster is Selby right now than the rest of the field. So he seems to be the class of the field in this one. As you can see his lead as we pan away, he's got a massive lead up front. As he comes across the stripe, we have 2 laps remaining in your 3rd heat race of the night. Look on board with Preston Dalton there. You can see just the distance. I mean, he's way back from your race leader right now. as the white flag is out for Selby. Selby out of turns number 4 is going to pick up heat race number 3 win. Dalton Preston's going to come around the line in second, and Theodore York will come home in the 3rd position. We're going to let these drivers work the track in for just a few minutes, roughly 2 minutes, and we will move on to tonight's main event for the non-wing 360 sprint cars. Again, a reminder of the Big 3 at the Big E. That is next weekend, December 3rd and 4th. You get the night before the Kings of Millertime, the Race of Champions, and the Kings of Millertime, the 4th running. It is a big, big weekend. $2,100 cash prizes are going out. So that's a big one. You don't want to miss that show. We've got your feature event, and here is how it's going to shake up. The starting lineup for tonight's non-wing 360 event. Starting on the pole, the 63 of Clifford Driscoll. Starting second, the 39 of Joshua Berkey. Starting third, the 7 of Craig Selby. Starting fourth, Hayden Harvey. Starting fifth, the 72, that's Greg Sheeran. Starting sixth, the 18 of Preston Dalton. Starting seventh, the 84 of Brandon Surratt. Eighth will be the 77 of Warren Samoy. Ninth will be the 09 of Theodore York. 10th will be the 91 of Matt Grimm. 11th will be the 47 of Jason Randolph. 12th will be the 46 of Ian McKenzie. 13th will be the 11th of Brian Wax. Starting 14th will be the number 14 of Brian Wax. Starting 15th will be the 13 of Ryan Insinger. Starting 16th will be the 19 of Jason Haynes. Starting 17th will be the 26 of Sean Stevens. And starting 18th will be the 2 of Michael LeMan. Driscoll looking for race number 2 win and pick up another $5 on the night. He's trying to sweep the night. And if he can do so, he's going to pick up $30 extra on the evening. Not a bad night of racing, as the 63 of Clifford Driscoll will start on the pole of his 30-lap feature. Do look like go to single file restart. Restart is on, and Driscoll has green flag in the air. Driscoll goes to the bottom as, one car in the back of Josh Berkey, and that will throw out the caution flag for the first one tonight. So go back and look. There it is. Just gets in a little too hot, and around he goes. That was Hayden Harvey trying to put this 360 in there a little bit too hard there and get in the back of Josh Berkey, and now he will start at the very end of the longest line. So it's a misfortune for him. As our first caution flag of the night waves really early in this race, as they went single file here, and it didn't pan out too well. As one car gets in the back of Josh Berkey. Berkey hits the wall just a little bit there, but no damage done there, as Hayden Harvey, you see him goes through the pits there. We single it out again. We're going to try to get it restarted here. Out of turns number 4, Driscoll is on the command. Big time battle up there for that second position there. You've seen Brandon Stewart there. You see Selby and Driscoll. Driscoll right there, and that was leading thing, but Selby, we've seen him last race. He was very, very fast, came through the field, went through the B main, made multiple moves, and here he is looking for the race lead here out of turns number 4. As the caution flag waves just before he was getting to try to take that one away. As just one car spins, hits a tire. It looks like it was Brian Wax, and that causes the caution to come out. That inside tire can be very, very tricky, and that's exactly what happened there. As we are now under our second caution of the night in the non-wing sprint car. I think we only seen 3 cautions on the midget race. It was a fairly clean race, and here we've already racked up 2 of them pretty quick and pretty early here, 6 laps into a 30-lap race. Selby looks like he is the man to beat up front as he's on the move here. He's into that second position. He's up 1 spot here. Brandon Stewart's up 4 spots, and Warren Samoy is up 4 spots in this one. Some issues with Josh Berkey there. He's back there towards the back of the pack here. Not the great outing that he liked to see, as he is the non-wing and 360 driver that's pretty good, as the green flag waves again. As Driscoll works the bottom side, so does Selby. Those two looks to be the class of the field right now as they separate themselves from the rest of them. Selby gets really loose there off turns number 4. Really screwed his momentum up there, and he'll have to regain composure and try to reel back in Driscoll. Brandon Stewart in that 3rd position right now. Matt Grimm doing very, very well running the top side of the racetrack right now. He's in that 4th position. He's up 5 spots in this race. He's got that thing hooked up on the top side. Here comes a hard slider by Craig Sheeran. Sheeran in that 72 machine. He's putting some moves on down there bottom side of the racetrack. He takes away the position from Brandon Surratt. Now he's going to try to take it away from Matt Grimm. Matt Grimm just barely able to hold the throttle down and get back around him. Here comes Sheeran back to the bottom side of the raceway. Race up front is heating back up. Shelby and Driscoll side by side there as they cross the stripe. Selby, Driscoll. Driscoll will claim the lead. Selby will reclaim it on the exit of 2. Selby, now your race leader up front. Driscoll slips back 1 position into that 2nd position. Now lap traffic's going to come into play for Selby. Selby sticks to the bottom side. Lap traffic stays to the top. Brian Wax right in front. They're side by side there. 14 machine gives way to the top side of the racetrack to the leaders. Driscoll back here in the 2nd position. Looks underneath this first lap car. Selby is doing well, and now Brian Wax hits the tire, gets into that 2nd position car of Driscoll. Big heartbreak for Driscoll as the caution flag waves. We'll see where Driscoll ends up after Brian Wax makes contact with the inside tire. Will that also involve Driscoll? Driscoll enters into the pits. Does look like he does have some damage, so big time issues for Clifford Driscoll. He was your winner in the midgets, was leading the points coming into the night. As, man, we're halfway through this race, and that is unfortunate for him as a lap car gets into the inside tire, and Driscoll was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. And now he's going to have to restart at the end of the longest line here. He's got some work to do. Selby has your race lead, and Matt Grimm is into that 2nd position. Good race for Matt Grimm. As we've seen Matt Grimm do very well in the All-Star race 2 seasons ago, and then he made himself into the Outlaws. He's an up-and-coming driver for sure, that 91 of Matt Grimm. Looking for a green flag here out of turns 4. Selby is on the throttle. Greg Sheeran in that 3rd position runs the top side of the racetrack to try to get the momentum exit off of 2. The inside, you got Warren Samoy looking underneath Brandon Surratt. He will try to put the slider on, and 1 car, Selby has an issue. Caution flag waves. We'll have to take a look at the replay and see what happened there. Selby to the bottom side of the racetrack, clips the inside tire. Big time mistake by Selby, your race leader. Unfortunate. 2 of your top drivers in this one that was running away from the show is having some big time issues, mistakes out onto the track, as now your race leader is turned over to the 91 of Matt Grimm. These cars have a lot of horsepower, and when you don't have a wing to really plan it down onto the racetrack, these things can be an absolute handful, and that is being the case tonight here in the 360s. Now, 2 mistakes coming one way of the inside tire. Good thing for Grimm, he's been working the top side of the racetrack, so he doesn't see any tires up there. All he sees is wall as the green flag waves. Grimm to the top side. Sheeran to the bottom side, looking for the race lead in turns number 2. Side by side, 3 wide action there on the exit of 2. Side by side, wheel banging on the exit of 4. Grimm reclaims your race lead. Sheeran into that 2nd position. Brandon Surratt to the lead. Now he's to the inside, and he's into that 2nd position. Down to the bottom side of the racetrack. Grimm to the top side. Side by side, racing for that 2nd and 1st position, as Grimm has got it right now, but they are 2 hungry guys right behind him in the way of Sheeran and Surratt. And here comes Hayden Harvey as he made an early mistake in this one. He's back in the mix, and he's working the top side. Now he goes to the bottom side looking for the race lead. He's into that third position. Hayden Harvey, he's up one position by where he started, but man, he had to start all the way in the back early in this race, and now he's coming after the race lead. Sheeran took over the race lead from Matt Grimm there as Grimm went to the bottom. Sheeran's got the race lead. Here comes Harvey. Hayden Harvey is on the throttle there on the top side of the raceway. Looks like Sheeran is running the exact same line. Will that pay off for Sheeran? Trying to hold down that top line as that's where Harvey is. Sheeran is up 4 positions for the start of this one. Harvey into the outside wall. He maintains it somehow. Matt Grimm back into the 3rd position after leading a couple laps in this one. Jason Randolph up here into 5th position. He's up 7 spots. Sheeran, still your race leader right now. You look at your average over the last couple laps. Those two, Hayden Harvey and Greg Sheeran, seems to be matching lap times, identical up front. Sheeran just a little bit better over the last 5. Sean Stevens up into the wall. He was on the move there, and you can see that car up, end over end, upside down there in turns number 4 for Sean Stevens, 26 machine. Unfortunate for him as the caution flag waves, and once again out on the speedway as we are 25 laps down of a 30-lap race. And I imagine when this thing goes green flag, we're going to see a really good battle by the 72 and 15 machine up front. Matt Grimm, you can't count him out as he was up there leading some of this in that 91 machine. He was in the catbird seat there, as we shall see as we get ready to go green flag racing here around Kokomo Speedway. Hayden Harvey on lap 2 or 3 early in this race came into turn 1 a little too hot, got in the back end of Josh Berkey. He went into the wall, had to do repairs, came back out at the very end of the longest line, and now we see him running second here with 5 laps remaining in this one, right behind Sheeran. Green flag is waving in the air. Sheeran goes to the top side, Harvey goes to the top side, Selby goes to the bottom side. Selby up into the 3rd position, taking over Matt Grimm's position. Can Hayden Harvey have anything for Greg Sheeran? Sheeran going to try to hold on for this race lead. A couple more turns around here, and he's got himself a race win. But man, Selby now to the inside looking for that 2nd position. He's running the bottom side very well. And he takes over, almost took over the race lead before the caution flag waves, and he did not want to see that as he was on the move on the bottom side of the racetrack. Will any of these leaders see what Selby was doing there as Selby takes over that 2nd position from Harvey, working the bottom side of the racetrack? We're going to have just a green-white checker, it looks like, whenever we come back to racing here at Kokomo to end race number 2 of 3. Next up, you will see the modifieds at Eldora Speedway. So a big change. Some of these guys, it's really fast in these non-wing open wheel, may not be so good in these modifieds, and that may shake up the points a little bit. It already has been shooken up as race leader Driscoll in this one had some early issues in this, hitting the tire and going around. So he's currently in the 8th position right now, and he had a 10-point lead going into this. That'll shrink quite a bit as Sheeran currently is in 2nd in the points, but I imagine he could come away with the points lead in this one if he can hold on for a win and Sheeran doesn't slip up here on the remaining laps of this one. Driscoll runs 8th. Driscoll needs a couple more laps or a couple more positions in this as green flag waves. Oh, Harvey gets into the back end of Selby just a little bit there. It may have actually helped Selby out a little bit to position that car to the bottom side of the racetrack as Hayden Harvey works the top side. You can see the gap that Selby was able to do down there on the bottom side of the raceway. We'll pan out on this so you can kind of see this race as Selby now takes over your race lead. A white flag is out coming out of turns number 3 and 4. Selby's going to steal this one out of turns 4 at the line. Selby will barely hang on for the race lead. Craig Selby gets the win on the final lap, working the bottom side of the race. Wow, what a race there. Craig Sheeran finishes the second, and Hayden Harvey rounds out the third position. Matt Grimm comes home fourth. Clifford Driscoll comes home fifth. A little bit of a salvage there, coming in as the points leader, so that'll help a little bit. Sixth is Jason Randolph. Seventh is Brannister. Eighth was Warren Samoy. Ninth was Theodore York. And rounding out the 10th position in the 13 machine, that was Ryan Ensinger. Your biggest gainer in this race goes to Matt Grimm in that fourth position. He was up 6 spots, and the highest finisher up 6 spots was him, Matt Grimm. When we come back, we will be talking modifieds at Eldora Speedway, and that is promptly around 9:30 is the start time on that one. So we'll go live somewhere around 9:40. So we'll be live back on in about 30 minutes. So it seems about 30-minute breaks in between each one of these races. We'll be back for your final race, and we'll update you on the point standings after this one as Greg Selby gets the win. He picks up $5, so now Selby is $5 on this one, and Driscoll was the winner in the midgets. He's got himself $5 coming into the final race at Eldora Speedway in the modifieds. We'll be back here in just a little bit.